Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Darvanalee Design Studio. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole, and today we are here for a Slow Stitching Saturday, episode 24, 25, something like that. I was awake really early, but somehow I was chasing my tail to get here this morning. Anyway, all I was making was my cuppa. I have my project out. I'm lucky that I'm here because Telstra sent me a backup because my internet is out. It dropped out last night while I was hanging out with one of my in real life best friends, Gail, and halfway through a conversation, the internet rudely interrupted and cut us off. So anyway, luckily, when I had some issues the other week, Telstra sent me a little backup. It's a little box that I can plug directly into my computer, and it gives me internet. So it's Wi-Fi. So if it gets a little bit glitchy, it shouldn't, because it's connected right into the computer. But if it gets a little bit glitchy, bear with me because internet issues at the moment. We've had a lot of severe storms up here and stuff like that, and it was unexpected. So all the lights are on the box, but there is actually no internet. We can't find anything online to suggest otherwise. They did say that there was a Queensland-wide outage, but they didn't give any specifics. But anyway, we're here to do some stitching, and I'm just going to share this over to Facebook, unless someone else wants to do it for me in the Facebook group. But anyway, I've got everything up and running, so let me just... And I have an extremely croaky voice this morning. That's what you get when you do lots and lots and lots of talking during the week. So we've had a pretty big week. So we're up to episode 5 of Slow Stitching Saturday. I was going to do some diamond painting this morning, but I'm like, you know what? I need to do some live streaming with this particular thing. It's so close to having all the bits and pieces down, except for that huge garden bit down along the bottom. So just bear with me for a second. I'll just share this over to the Facebook group. I don't have my thing connected today. We are live. I've got a keyboard that I connect. But I didn't connect that this morning. So let me just paste that. That preview has come up, and boom, we are done with the mousy mouse doing that sort of stuff. So let me get back to the camera view. There we go. I was very, very happy that I had this backup box last night. I forgot all about it, actually, and it wasn't until like half an hour after I got kicked off with my friend that I'm like, oh, I've got that backup. And I picked it up. I'm like, oh, that's right. It's the cryptic. How do we work this? Anyway, pulled the instructions out, had a good look at it, and basically it just plugs into the back of my computer, and away we went. I'm happy with that. That means that I now have internet, Wi-Fi internet, and so I can use my computer anywhere in the house. All right, I'm going to get rid of this because I was checking the sound. I don't need that because no one is on with me. I think next year what I'm going to do with my computer, just bear with me, I'm just fixing my seat up, is I'm gonna get a little secondhand refurbished one so I can still stream and all that sort of stuff. But I think what I might do is actually put this one in because it's still a really good computer. So I'm thinking that I might just put it in and get a clean out or a refurbishment of it and just bring it back up to spec and all that sort of stuff. I don't know how much that'll cost me, but it's a good computer. I paid a pretty dime for it, and it works fairly well. But I'd say it just needs some updated components and stuff like that. And then that way I can, keep using this one. I like this. It needs new keys and all that sort of stuff as well. So I'm just sharing. Just bear with me for a second. I'm just sharing this across. What am I looking for? Shift at host video live stream. One finger typing is not great. Live stream happening now. Oh, I tell you, I'd rather have happening. No. You think I would have done all this beforehand, right? Yeah, not that bright. I'm just not that bright. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, Control copy, and then go down and drop that in this place here. And then that way I've done all the sharing. I think Nicole's content. No, it's not booktube content, but anyway, let me just go to craft section. Do I have that here on this one? TV, crafting, moderate, crafty corner. There we go. Let's do a paste there and an enter, and then that's done. All right, let's get back here and shut all those down because they'll make everything lag, no doubt, and we don't want that, right? All right, we're here. All right, I've done all the things. Yeah, it took me 9 minutes. All right, grab your coffee. It's Saturday morning coffee time. I have my almond milk coffee in my spooky cup. Not that you can see it, but anyway, let me put it up here. Can you see the little spooky? It's a Ray Dunn one. Oh, I needed that, that's for sure. I also have my water. We are working on the Birdsville Cushion yet again. So all the big bits are on. We still have, if you're new here and you're not sure what's going on, this little bit down here is going on last. This is very intensive. It's tiny little dots that I'm going to be putting on there, and there's a lot of embroidery. So we also have a lot of embroidery happening on this actual piece itself because these are all the bits and pieces that I have to do. So this is the top. And so I've got long stitch and short stitch and crosses and French knots is the word I'm looking for, some fly stitch. I still have some bits and pieces to put on the birds. But as you can see, we've got some birds over here that need to be done and all these big flowers and all these leaves. So you can see the leaves actually have a little bit of the fly stitch on. And I know for those that have been here and following along, I am repeating myself, but we have new people that join us all the time. So bear with me, go make a coffee. You know what to do. Okay, so today I'm going to continue putting my little peacock down. We discussed last week. It looks quite vicious with all those pins in there. We discussed last week that you could use, some glitter threads on this. You could do lots of different things with this peacock and spruce goose him a little bit. So we're going to be doing a little bit on, we're going to get him finished down. And then from there, we might end up doing some long and short stitch. So let me just show you what I have to do. I don't think I need that bit anymore, so I'll just chuck that out there. So it tells you in the pattern what I've got to do. So you can see all these round flowers. I've got, some zigzag. So this is fly stitch with no tail on it. Again, fly stitch with a long shaft on it. Some long, and then all these dots represent French knots or colonial knots, whichever one you want to do, I guess. You can pick anyone, whatever you find easier. Like, it's your piece. You can do whatever you want. This is just a guide to give you an idea of what to do, okay? It doesn't mean you have to follow it to the T. If you want to dress it up a little bit more, you dress it up a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. And, of course, this is so we've got a lot of backstitch and everything to do on the peacock. So that's all. And then this is all the little small pieces that I've got to put on. That's that garden that goes across. And then all the birds, of course, have stuff that they need to get done on them as well. So there's more felt to go on some of them. So some of these circles have got to be little bits of felt. And then we've got some French knots. We've got some backstitch and all that sort of thing. So, yeah. And so that's what we're going to do today. So for now, I'm going to whip stitch them down, and then we'll probably start doing some backstitch on the peacock and anything else that needs backstitch, maybe some short little stitches and stuff like that. Fly stitch, I have to go and watch it. Like, I have to remember how to do it. It's been a hot minute since I've done fly stitch. And when you've got like a catalogue of stitches in your head and you go to do it and you're like, oh crap, I can't remember how to do this, but you do know how to do it. And then you go and watch a video and you go, why did I second guess myself? I'm doing that right now. Okay. It's 7:30 in the morning for me, so it's quite early. And we've got some new neighbours across the road, and for the most part, the neighbourhood has been super quiet. So let me give you an update on what's been happening in the neighbourhood. Remember Julie across the road? banshee woman that go out and yell and scream and play music and carry on and all the things. She has moved out. The house is so trashed that the owners, which are the government, are considering selling it because they can't get anybody to come in and clean it. It is that putrid in there. I'm not surprised. If you've seen this woman, you would go, yeah, right. You know, no, my house is no show pony either. Like, you know, my yard's trashed at the moment because we have a puppy here and he is finding things that I didn't even thought existed anymore and chewing them up. So we're constantly chasing him around. Like, my house is nothing. Like, my house is probably the worst house in the street, to be honest. It's old. It's over 100 years old and it's had no updates. So there's that. But I'm talking the inside of her house is that putrid that they can't actually get anybody to come and clean it. So that's wild in itself. But she's been gone now for, it'd be close on 4, maybe almost 5 months now. No, it'd be 4 months on that. So it's been exceptionally quiet. Like, it got to a stage where I could not even do anything out the front during the day if they were home, because they would be playing music so loud I couldn't record and all that sort of stuff. So it got really bad. But she moved out on her own volition. There was some altercations that happened. But yeah, she ended up moving out of her own volition, which was great. Like, good riddance, see you later, bye. Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. You know how it is, right? Like, if you've been around for a while, you know the hell we've had with our neighbours here, right? We own our house. I mean, we're paying off a mortgage, but we own our house, so it's not as easy for us to go, oh, well, we'll just move, right? So we have been through some neighbours here. We have one set of neighbours that lived right next door to us that they basically rang the council every day and complained. When they moved in, we were already here. We'd been here for 3 or 4 years and they moved in. They had seen the property, all the rest of it, and then they decided that they were going to renovate, and basically they renovated, which was great. So we put up with that for a year and a half of them renovating, outside renovation times and all, and we tolerated all of that, so that was fine. And then after they renovated their house, well, they wanted to sell their house, didn't they? So they thought it would be funny or a great idea to ring the council every single day for almost 2 years. I think it was. They rang the council every single day to complain about our yard, to complain about Brendan parking his truck out the front, complain about so many things, and like every day. If Brennan came home at 9 o'clock at night, they would ring the council or the police and say that we were making noises and all this sort of stuff. Like, it was relentless. Okay. Then they wanted to put a fence up. So then they started talking nice to us. I'm like, okay, obviously you want something. So that was fine. They put the fence up. We also told them that at the time, Brennan was working a job that didn't pay a lot and that we're a single income, and that we would not be able to contribute to a full-on colour bond fence. So the council laws here that you only have to pay the equivalent for the majority of the fences that are in the neighbourhood. So a lot of the fences around here are just paling fences, and a lot of fences are also the chain mesh that you see around schools. A lot of backyards have that as well. So we only had to pay them the equivalent of getting one of those fences done. Okay, they wanted the colour bond, we did not. And so basically, because we couldn't afford it, it wasn't that we didn't want it, we just couldn't afford it at the time. My kids were little, they were going to school, Brendan was, working away, not getting a great deal of money and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, they complained every day. Then it got so bad that they rang Workplace Health and Safety, because I have a business at home, trying to say that we had people working out of the yard, that there was a mechanic business here and all the rest of it. That was that was hilarious that day they turned up. They couldn't have sent a better couple to come here and check us out. The guy was a car guy and the woman was a quilter. Just let me repeat that. the guy from Workplace Health and Safety and the woman from Health Place and Safety came here. She was a quilter and the guy was a car guy. I had a class going on when they turned up here. And so she came and sat down and was talking to the ladies and all the rest of it. And, and basically, she ended up chit-chatting while I showed the guy around the yard all the cars that we have here, because we've got like hotted up cars and stuff that are quite, muscle cars and cars that are rare and all that sort of stuff. They're not all done. Like, these are projects that my husband has found along the way and was, saving up for a rainy day for when he retires and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, that was hilarious. They were here for an hour and a half. They were supposed to be here for 15 minutes. They were here for an hour and a half talking about quilts and all the rest of it. She was fascinated by everything that I had here and the classes and all that sort of stuff. She was talking to the ladies. I mean, obviously they were also scoping to see if I did actually run a business and have staff and all that sort of stuff. And all the ladies are like, I don't know where you're getting your information from. But anyway, they came and they left. So that was fine. And then we had them ring the fire brigade, saying that our yard was a fire hazard and all this sort of stuff and whatnot. And okay, so it's comical. Okay, so we had the fire brigade turn up. The guy that turned up knew Brendan, because Brendan used to work for the forestry. Brendan's job was to go in and burn the forest. That he is actually a qualified firefighter for bushland and stuff like that for the forestry. So and the guy walked in and he looked at Brendan and he goes, "I'm going home." And that's as far as he got, as far as the gate, and he basically left. The council came up and all the rest of it. And so, there were some things that we were doing that we shouldn't have been doing. Like, we had a couple of cars parked out the front that we shouldn't have had parked out on the front and all the rest of it. But anytime they asked us to move it, we just move it. But because they were relentless, ringing up all the time, it basically, it basically got beyond the joke. So the council would just be up here all the time. It was so bad that we actually knew that we ended up on a first name basis with the council, and they would just drive past and tell us that, we're driving past. Yeah, there's nothing wrong. You're good. And that. So I got the phone calls. Anyway, they were so desperate in the end, because what happened was they renovated the house and they sunk too much money into the house and the market sort of dropped a little bit, right? So then they rang the council, and they didn't do themselves any favour here. They rang the council and told the council that their house was going on the market, and if they didn't get the asking price that they were asking, which was 200,000 over market value, because my husband's also been a real estate agent as well. Basically, they were going to sue us and the council for the remainder, because they did not get any joy from, basically, I don't know what they were trying to do. I think they were trying to get us kicked out or something like that, or get the house condemned or some crap like that. And so they were going to sue the council. The council rang us straight away and told us the update and said, yeah, we're out. So I laughed and I said, well, good luck to them, because I feel like the council's probably got a pretty good lawyer, solicitor team, to help them with this sort of stuff. I feel like, maybe they don't have a leg to stand on and all that sort of stuff. The house sold. If they didn't get the asking price, we have not been sued. So they left. And we have a big abattoir here, which meatworks for pig meatworks here, called Swiggers. And we have a lot of islanders come here for work, essentially, which is great, because they can't get enough. We're in a small country town, and we can't always get enough workers for the abattoir and all that sort of stuff. So basically, they bring in workers from the islands that surround Australia. So places like Samoa, Papua New Guinea, all those sort of places, right? And so that's fine. They bring them in and they come and they work, and they need places to live. And we had a new couple had moved in, and they were quiet. They gave us, they knew what they were getting. They got divorced. There was a whole story there. Like, I could spill the tea on that relationship, but it's not fair for them. I shouldn't even know. what went on. But what escalated was the people that they ended up moving in. And it wasn't the guy that was there. The husband was ex-army, and they separated, and then so they moved these island workers in, and they were the worst neighbours from hell. They, at one stage there, I was on a live stream with Neva from Reading with Neva, which I think is now Neva's Cozy Corner. Basically, we were on a 24-hour. I wasn't on camera. I was just in the comments for a 24-hour weekend sprint, and they were partying next door. And this was like a constant. It constantly was going, music 24 hours a day, pretty much. And because they were shift workers, they had no understanding that people had to work during the day and all this sort of stuff, and they weren't listening. We'd went over, we'd asked politely. It got to the point where we were ringing the police to get them to come up. The police then got to the point where they weren't doing anything. This went on for 2 years, and I didn't realize how much it affected me until my friend Jenny said to me after they moved out, "Oh my God, you sound so much better. You don't sound so tired." Because I was having broken sleep, and, sometimes I wouldn't get to sleep. They partied this one night 22.5 hours. The music was full bore, so loud that my house was vibrating from the music. Police weren't coming, nothing like that. It got to the point where my husband lost it after 2 years and did something that he shouldn't have done, and he went to court for it, and he got in trouble for it and all the rest of it. He basically went and kicked the door in and basically went off his head. We got to the breaking point, and it's not, I don't agree with what he done and all the rest of it. And he also doesn't agree with what he done either. But he said in the moment he lost it. Okay. So we got to breaking point. Now, Gail will attest to how long this is going on. Chrissy can also attest to how long this went on, because this has been going on, it was going on for ages. So while that was happening, we've got the neighbours across the road. So Julie was the third lot of neighbours we've had in this particular house. And I'm telling you, there's been the great Australian love story between Dawn and Ian. One night, he was getting arrested, and it was just full on, right? We've had not nice people come down and argue during school holidays while all the kids are at the front, and, headbutt each other, and ambulance are being called, and, find out that your neighbours are HIV through, don't touch me, I'm HIV. I'm like, okay, it's just getting better. So this is like my reality TV show that I've had. Anyway, we also had, machete incidents in this house. So we've had taserings from one family, beatings of children, to the point where me and some other people called in docs, the police, all the people that we could get to get these kids out of there and all that sort of stuff. That was the first family that moved in, because it was a new build after we moved in. It was getting built about a month after we moved in. It started getting built. So we had that. Then we had a new family move in, and they had twins and a teenage boy. The teenage boy was something special. Had to ring the police one day because he was out there with a machete and all the rest of it. And then Julie moved in. The ones that with the machete, the twins. I've never believed that whole good versus evil with twins. You hear that narrative, like there was an evil twin. Man, I witnessed it. This kid was like, I actually said I would never label a child evil, ever. There's always some underlying thing. And yeah, their household wasn't that good. But this kid, man, he had a mean streak. And his little brother, he would pick on him all the time. Outside, you'd see him playing, you think they're getting along really well, and all of a sudden this kid stand up and just punch his brother in the face. These were 4-year-old kids. And I'd be like, oh my God. Anyway, that child ended up being removed from the mother, and I can only assume put into care somewhere. They moved out not long after the machete incident. She was having a nervous breakdown because that teenager was pretty much abusing her. So there was a lot going on in that house. Anyway, they left. The kid went to juvie, and so he was off the streets, and he was going to attack the neighbor because they were both dealing drugs, and the other one stepped on his territory. Meanwhile, that household was really quiet. You didn't really hear much from them on that. And then Julie moved in, and Julie's been here for she would have to have been here for about 8 years, 6 to 8 years. That so we had Tristan, her son, so she'd get out calling Tristan. Tristan was a little shit, like he'd get out there and he'd be lighting fires, and she'd be out there, Tristan, yelling at the top of her voice, and I could hear her up my backyard, and I've got a huge block, and she'd have music going, and all the crackheads of the neighborhood would be around, and they'd be all partying on and all that sort of stuff, and I'd be like, it's just relentless. But she was approachable. We could go over there and say, hey, shut up. Stop it. And they'd go quiet. They'd be quiet for ages. So it wasn't so bad, when a neighbour's approachable and you can get a result and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, Julie's been living there and all the rest of it. But, things have gone down. We've had fights. We've had punch-ups. We've had, like, Fight Club where it's just going off. Like, anyway, it's like my real life reality show. So I'm watching these people just implode on themselves and all the things. And anyway, it was a sad day when Julie decided she was moving out. I can tell you there was a few drinks flowing in this house, and we were celebrating a little bit. So that was good. She moved out about 4 months ago, and the neighborhood's been super quiet. And occasionally the neighbours across the road next door to Julie, so not directly across the road where Julie lived, across the road and down one. They have been pretty quiet, and they've actually changed neighbours. The neighbours before that weren't too bad. Like there was a couple of teenage boys in there, and every now and again they'd have a bit of a party. And we're not opposed to parties or anything like that. They are usually pretty good. They come across and go, hey, it's going to get a bit noisy. We're going to be going out. And that we're going to have some music. It's probably going to go to about, 11 o'clock, and then we're going to head downtown for a few hours because our pubs and clubs close. So most of our pubs close around 12, but there's a couple that stay open because they've got a night venue attached to them. So they stay open a bit longer, and they only usually go down for an hour because it's too expensive for them. Like they're teenage lads, right? So they're pretty broke. So that was fine and all the rest of it, but they've moved out, and we've got some new people in there now. And last night, they came home from town and turned the music on till 3 o'clock this morning. And I'm lying there going, do I bother? Are they even going to hear me if I knock on the door? And I just went, you know what? I'll nap tomorrow. It's just not worth it. So, yeah. But, I don't know where that's going to go. That's like, it's the second time it's happened. So, I don't care if it's on the weekend. I prefer it to be on a Saturday night when I'm not here, and I might end up saying that to them. I'm like, look, can you just do it on a Saturday night, because I go out too and I'm already awake. So anyway, that's sort of where I ended up last night. So we've had some stylish neighbours here. As you can see, Gail, who's Wombat Hollow Crafts. I love the Dawn and Ian, the Great Australian Love Story, Bergen style, yeah. So basically what happened one night, was Ian was outside. Dawn was this woman that had like a treasure trove of kids from, a variety of different baby daddies and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, she wasn't a great person. She was a bit of a shit stirrer. And so she would antagonize these guys and, get them all riled up and all the rest of it. Well, one night, I could hear this bang, bang. I'm like, what the hell is that? Anyway, I'm listening there. I could not for the life of me figure out what it was. Anyway, Ian was out the front, chucking a dinky, so a trike, a little kid's bike, right, a three-wheeler, onto the roof. It was hitting the tin roof because most of the houses around here have got tin roofs, hitting the tin roof, and he was getting it high enough that you got the bang and then the dinky rolling down the tin roof and then hitting the concrete down the bottom. Anyway, I rang the police and said, look, Ian's at it again. Like, police know all of us on a first name basis up here because it's wild. All right. And I'm not even in the bad part of town. Just FYI, I'm not in the bad part of town. Most of my neighbours around here are elderly or working folk and are quiet. It's just these 3 houses, right? Anyway, that was fine. And he's doing that, and I'm like, oh, well, this is going to be interesting. The police turn up. Anyway, I heard the police turn up because, police cars have got a particular sound. You can pretty much pick them out of the lineup. Anyway, the police turned up. They were talking to him. Now, I don't know what happened, but Ian was outside. The doors were locked because that's the whole point. He was like yelling, let me in. I want to come in. Rah, 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 right? Dawn, let me in. All this sort of stuff. Right? And this has been going on for quite a while. Now, the police turned up. Now, I'm not saying that the police failed at the job or whatever, but I'm curious. Like, I'm really curious. What the heck happened? How did he get inside and why did you need to taser him? So, because, from where I was standing, you guys were all on the outside of the house because I have a perfect view from my place and there's a lot of trees at the front of my place. So you can't see me. Once all the lights are off on my side of the road, you can't see me. All right, I'm in the dark. I can sit there. I can take footage. I can watch you. I can do all the things, and you wouldn't even know that I'm there. All right. And so, not that I, watch anybody, but when the show's on, believe me, I've gone out there. I've been a spectator. It was a spectator sport for sure, right? So I'm out there watching what's going on. I'm thinking, right, all these guys are outside, right? And then I hear this pop, pop, pop. Now, in a blink of an eye, Ian's managed to get into the house past 2 burly police officers, okay, and I think there was another police officer. There might have been 3. I'll say that there was definitely 2, but he got past these and got in the house, right? And I'm like, okay, interesting. Anyway, I hear this pop, 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 and I'm like, oh, shit, what's going on over there, right? I'm like, do I duck? Do I run inside? Do I call for backup? What do I do? Sit down. I'm like, you know what? I'll sit here and watch it play out. That worst case scenario, shit goes down. I witnessed some shit that I probably shouldn't have, right? So anyway, and I'm like, this is 3 o'clock in the morning, folks. Okay, 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, my town is really quiet, and basically, apart from these neighbours, where I'm at, it's really quiet and it's quite echoey. So if you yell, you can talk to someone up the street, right? So it's that quiet. There's no traffic noise or anything like that. Small country town, crickets, all the nighttime noises, but everything echoes. Anyway, he got tasered. And he was in such disbelief that he got tasered. He goes, you effing tasered me, man. You effing tasered me. Well, here in Queensland, I don't know about anywhere else, but at the time here in Queensland, police are not allowed to remove the little prongs that go into the person off the taser. So they disconnect the taser and leave the prongs in. So they sting like a motherfucker, I would assume, right? Anyway, he's in the back of the paddy wagon. So you've already got the neighbourhood echoing. Throw them in the back of a paddy wagon. So this is a wagon that, for those I don't know if you've got them over there, but they're a car that have a wagon closed-in area on the back where they can put prisoners, not in the back of a police car, but it's like a ute or a utility truck style thing that they put people into, and then they handcuff them in there, and they're got a seat, and they're contained. It's like a prison on the back of a car, okay? A little jail cell on the back of the car. And it's metal, so it echoes. So anyway, he's in the back going, I can't believe you effing tasered me. You effing tasered me, man, like at the top of his voice. So meanwhile, police officer number 2 has, called for ambulance to come up and take said prongs out of prisoner. Anyway, Ian is in the back of the paddy wagon, carrying on like a pork chop, calling all sorts of names to Dawn and whatnot, and all the police officers in disbelief that how dare they taser him. and all the rest of it, and, obtain him and detain and all the things that, he brought upon himself. And anyway, I laugh now, but at the time it was like, this is ridiculous. Like, what the hell is going on in the world? The world has got a lot crazier since then. But anyway, she's inside yelling stuff. So Dawn's in there being a banshee and yelling all sorts of expletives and whatnot to Ian and calling him all pretty names under the sun and antagonizing him further. And she's getting told to shut up, like the police were getting jack of it, and they're like, you get inside and be quiet. And of course this is echoing. So meanwhile, Les is next door looking out his window. People across the road, Dave and his family, I could see them peering out the windows, having a good chuckle to themselves and all the rest of it. Meanwhile, Ian is still going off in the back of the paddy wagon. And then the ambulance drivers turn up. So they also have quite a sound, and their doors make a particular sound. You know that they've been up here a lot when you can distinguish between regular cars, police cars, and ambulances. Okay, the different sounds of the engines and all the rest of it. I can just tell you what's driving past when and all the rest of it. Still can to this day. That's how much the police have been up here. Anyway, the ambulance driver comes up, and Ian gets informed that the ambulance driver is here and all the rest of it. And he goes, this was like how I didn't get seen, and the police come and go, and you need to go to bed, Missy. Is unbelievable, because this got me in fits of laughter. The ambulance driver turns up and he announces himself that he's going to come in and remove the prongs, right? And so Ian in the paddy wagon turns around, you're not coming in until you ID yourself and all the rest of it. And as deadpan as ever, this ambulance driver is like, you could hear by the tone in his voice, well, I do not have time for this shit at 2 o'clock in the morning. And he's gone, hi, my name is Ian. And then in a high-pitched squeal voice, Ian in the back of the paddy wagon goes, oh, my God, my name is Ian too, like a little girl. Like teenage girls have just been here. Oh, my God, we're sisters, sort of thing, right? Anyway, that was fine. I'm over here. I'm like, wetting myself laughing. Like I was doing the full Muttley laugh, trying to keep quiet, all the rest of it. Anyway, they pulled out the prongs. He's like, I can't believe they tasered me, man. They tasered me. This is all I could hear in the background. Anyway, meanwhile, Banshee Dawn is at her front door, inside, so obeying what the police said, but mouthing off through the screen door and antagonizing. And he's calling her all sorts of things under the sun. And then he's yelling out, if you're looking for a pot, it's in the cupboard next to the stove, like fully telling everybody where her pot's kept in the neighborhood and the police and all the rest of it, like dropping her in it. And this is all happening like while the police are standing around waiting for the ambulance and all. And she's mouthing off and all the rest of it, calling him all sorts of names under the sun. And then it's time for them to leave. And this is the love story, okay? This is the love story part about it. And so I've painted a picture. It's quiet in Kingaroy. It echoes in my neighborhood. We've got Ian in a steel box, essentially, on the back of a car. We've got Banshee Dawn yelling from her front door over the top of a police officer, calling him all sorts of names under the sun. He's yelling back about where her pot is and how much of, this, that, and the other she is and all the rest of it. The police get in the car, you hear doof, doof, the doors close, car start, and they're starting to drive off. And all you hear Ian go, hey, Dawn. She goes, what? He goes, I fucking love you fucking mole, as he's driving off up the street. And I'm like, oh, my heart be still. And that is the Dawn and Ian Great Australian Love Story, Bogan style. And Ian was back there, FYI, after he was charged and have to go to court and all the rest of it. He was released on his own reconnaissance for public nuisance and all that sort of stuff. And, he was released and he came back and it was still on. And that story continued until another dude moved in and it all went pear-shaped. And Dawn lost her kids. she had the one that she was pregnant with taken off her because she had really bad dudes in there, and in the end, and like it was just full on. So I don't even know what happened to Ian and Dawn. All I know is that they were once were in love, and he was getting driven away in a paddy wagon, and he loved her because she was a fucking mole. And I'm sorry if you don't like swearing, but there is no other way to tell that story without adding those bits in. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's how it went. So yeah, and that, my friends, is the story of my neighborhood. So now we have a vacant house across the road. It's extremely quiet here most of the time, except for last night. And I have been telling my neighborhood stories for a very long time on this channel, and even on the BookTube channel as well. And I'm the same, Gail. It doesn't matter how many times I tell it, how many times I hear it, how many times I re-envision it. I am always laughing because it is hilarious. Like, and I'm like, you couldn't even write this shit. You can't even make this shit up. Like, this stuff is happening. And when we got them out, like, it was so bad up at this house when Dawn and that were here. There was the HIV dude. He got out of jail. His name was Ian too. Like, she had a thing for Ian's, right? I don't know who he was to Dawn. I don't think he was involved with Dawn. But the conversations that I had with the police on that. So we have privacy laws here, which sometimes makes it incredibly hard for police to find things out without due cause. So sometimes they rely on public people to find information out. I'm telling you, me and another girl, we had our fingers on the pulse on who owned this house and all the rest of it. But anyway, he got out of jail. So my introduction to him was during the Christmas school holidays. So it would have been, I think it was just a week into the new year. So at the time, I had my 3 girls living here. So my eldest daughter was still at home. So it probably was 2012 when this happened. Maybe 2013. No, I think it was 2012 because they hadn't not long been living in the house. So it must have been 2012 because we moved in here in 2011. We bought this house. And anyway, Ian's out the front. It's school holidays. So my friend was living across the road in the house next door to them. And so her 2 kids were there. My 3 kids were here. At the time, next door, there was a young family living there. They moved out not long after this. They had triplets. Dawn had 5 kids in her house. So what's that? That's 5, 11. There was 14 kids plus friends all playing outside. This Ian was standing outside, and he was new in the neighborhood. He had kept his nose clean. He just got out of jail and whatnot. And this is when I decided that my children would no longer be playing on the street. This chick, right, was walking down the street. Now, I still see this chick around and she was walking down, and she was walking down the street with purpose. You know, when you see someone, they're on a mission and all the things. Yeah, she was walking with some purpose. And anyway, she's come down. I'm sitting out the front. I think I was reading at the time. I might have been doing some cross stitch. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe some embroidery. I would have been doing something crafty for sure. And I was watching her. I'm like, gee, she's angry. No, looking up the street. I'm like, wow, she's really angry. Kept looking at her. And Ian's standing there minding his own business, talking to the kids and all the rest because he had his daughter there and whatnot. And then all of a sudden this chick's come up, she's grabbed him by the ears and she's given him a Liverpool kiss. Now, if you don't know what a Liverpool kiss is, that is a full-on smack, bang, full headbutt to the forehead. This guy dropped like a bag of doo-doo on the ground, holding his face, blew his nose apart and all the rest of it, like split lip, the whole lot. Like she full-on Liverpool. How she was still standing, I don't know. But it was the best Liverpool kiss I've ever seen a chick give a guy. So anyway, he's down on the ground. And an ambulance was rung because he was, bleeding and all the rest of it. The ambulance drivers have turned up. well, they're not drivers, they're paramedics, have turned up. And he's the first thing he yells out, don't touch me, I'm HIV positive. I'm like, this shit cannot get any better. Like, this cannot get any freaking better. So I'm sitting there going, right, so my kid's not going out there anymore if shit like this is going to happen. Not because he was HIV. I mean, that's neither here nor there, but it was because it was getting violent out there, and I didn't want my kids to witness that. So I've yelled out to them, "Oi, inside, up the back." So they were inside. They came into the yard, and they've gone up the back and all that sort of stuff, which is fine. And then I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I rang Brendan. Brendan missed a lot of this because he was working away at the time. But I used to give him blow by blow of what was happening. Anyway, so we learned that, but he was quite a violent man, and we finally got them out because of what he did to his daughter. My friend actually witnessed him laying into his daughter because their houses were so close and she was living there. And she witnessed through her kitchen window into their, what would be classed as a second lounge room or a games room in this, or dining room in this house, and witnessed him laying into his then teenage daughter. And my girls had said that he had been laying into her because they had seen bruises on her at school and stuff. So we just had to get proof that it was happening because we had already spoken to docs and all the rest of it. And what happened is a friend of ours, her daughter had left home and moved in there. And because she's like, both of us had taught her how to, like, in karate and stuff like that. So we knew this girl and knew her family, and all this sort of stuff was going on. So that we ended up, I lost my needle threader, which is not good. Where did I put that? There it is. We ended up codating her. I taught her I also taught her craft and that classes at the shop that I used to work at, and she was doing a traineeship there, retail traineeship there. So I knew her sort of on a personal level, as well as from, and her mum and all that sort of stuff. So we ended up codating her when she walked out and pulled her aside and said, you need to get out of there. This was on the morning that it all happened. And she told us exactly what happened to the girl. And so we had that information then. So then we were able to go to the child services and get that sorted out. So that was good in that aspect. And so we got all that sorted out. And then, because all this stuff was happening, I was telling my husband, and where I'm going with this and how we ended up getting stuff sorted is this took about a week and a half to get underway and all the rest of it. And what the catalyst was my husband in his truck in the middle of nowhere in New South Wales during harvest time, rang Kingaroy Police Station and got the constable that was working on the case, and basically said, if you don't go and do your job, I'm going to go and do it for you and leave the mess for you to clean up. I have my wife living across the road and my children, and I work away, and I cannot, he went off. And this constable rang me and dobbed on him for being a douche on the phone. But because their hands were tied, they had no proof that this was going on. They had no probable cause for a search warrant. They had no probable cause to raid the house or anything like that. So they had to rely on us to get them the information. And so because they didn't have probable cause to get a search warrant to get information because of the Privacy Act, that they needed us to do it, because if we give it to them freely, then they can circumnavigate that. And so apparently that's what happens. I don't know. I was just going on with that. They wanted the information. I was willing to give it to them because I needed the problem resolved, right? So through some investigating on our own, which, mind you, only took 4 hours, we found out who owned the house. And then so we were able to get them on board to evict them. Docs then came up because then now you don't have a house to live in. So we now have probable cause to look at your house and what's happening with the children in said house. So that's how it all played out. And so that's how she ended up having her children removed from her. they have then, I know that 2 of her kids went to their dad, who was a decent dude. He was there when they first moved in, and he was working and all that sort of stuff, and he wasn't, no good Nick or anything. He'd had his moments, and obviously he just like pulled his head in when he had children. So that was where 2 of the kids went, the eldest ones. And then the other 3, I do not know what happened to them. Because I do know that one of the fathers, because she had kids to a lot of different dudes and stuff. She was just really sporty. So yeah, but we ended up getting that situation resolved. That was the first. That was the first lot of people. Like, it was just, you can't make this shit up. Like, you seriously can't. It's funny because it's not happening to me, even though I'm witnessing it. And my kids, for the most part, they didn't see a lot of it because my house, like, I turn the TV on and people could be punching on out the front. And if I turn the TV on and turn it up a little bit and have my machines running and stuff, and shut the doors, they can't really hear it. They'll hear a commotion, but they won't be able to hear word for word stuff saying that. But yeah, it was pretty full on here for a while. So right now, apart from that little bit of music last night, it's been really quiet. I miss, I do miss my reality TV show a bit, but not enough to want them to come back. Do you know what I mean? Like, the entertainment value of it. It's at the time, it's not that great that it's happening. But, when you think about it a little bit later, you just think, God, I'm glad I don't live that way. It just one wrong move in your life is, that, all that crap. Look at that. We're getting bits on that little, just it's like, it's looking cute. So yeah, well, I wasn't expecting to do story time with Nicole today. So yeah. Anyway, that's what it is. Let's have a look and see who's here. I probably should have done that an hour ago, but I have been seeing your comments pop up, everybody. Thank you for being here. So Gail's here. Shannon's also here as well. Yeah, I know. It wasn't actually it wasn't such a bad thing. It was getting late, and I probably should have gone to bed as well, but it was rude because it was in the middle of a conversation. Like, excuse me? I'm really enjoying stitching with you on Saturday. Oh, thank you. Morning, Gail and Shannon Lee and everybody else from Chrissy. Hi, Chrissy from Shannon. Cross-stitching this morning, trying to finish some Prairie School Santas for Christmas decorations. Nice. It's early evening here, so a glass of wine. Nicely done. I could drink in the morning. I didn't have to go anywhere. I could drink in the morning. Bit of wine, bit of fruit juice. I don't like wine, so that's not going to happen. Gail says, I'm very close to a finish on this year's Christmas sale from the Historical Sampler Company. So I'm stitching on that this morning. Nicely done. So you have a neighbourhood Karen. Oh, I've had several. Gail loves the Darvanalee and Great Australian love story, Bogan style. Making me thankful for my boring neighbourhood, says Sunflower Stitching and Stitches and Quilting. Morning, how are you? Welcome on in. We are very boring here. The only excitement here is the sound of ambulances and everyone is older and more sane. Yeah, I have take that house out of the equation and apart from the party they had last night, which is fine, it's no big deal. It's really quiet here. Good morning, Jenny. Just popped in. Initially thought you were talking about describing TV show. Real life is so much better. That's exactly right. I'm sitting here laughing my head off with the Dawn and Ian story. I love it no matter how many times I hear you tell it. I know, right? I have told it many times because it's a fun story. Like, come on. If that's not a love story, I don't know what is. I would have liked to have known, did they get married? Did they have some more kids? All that sort of stuff. Yeah, crazy times. It's funny though. I had these in order and then I bumped them and they went everywhere. So now I don't know which one's which. So that's why I'm sort of I think that one's that. No, I reckon it's that one. I got nothing. Maybe it's turned that way. So last night after I got off, we have a young lad living here, Lockie, and he's asked me to teach him to sew because he wants to get into auto trimming. But last night I was doing my diamond painting after I was really interrupted by the internet, and basically he's like, oh, wow, what is that? And I'm like, it's diamond painting. And he's like, oh, that is so cool. He goes, and he's like, how do you do it? So I was showing him, and I said, do you want to do one? And I said, I've got heaps. You want to do one? And I got these Easy Win boxes, a diamond painting subscription, and it'd come with, some craft, 2 diamond painting charts in them, 30 by 40. And then it'll have some sort of craft in it or whatever. And I got them for about 8 or 9 months. I can't remember, but out of all of them, I think I've got 5 or 6 boxes left, maybe a couple more. I didn't really count them last night. So anyway, I moved my stitching desk because that's in front of my diamond painting, because I don't have to go into that very often. I pull a heap out, and it might be 6 months before I have to move it again. So anyway, I went in and I got all them out, and we were looking through them, and he kitted up last night, and he is doing a lion and a lion's head. And it's got 32 colors. It's a round. As I said, it came from the Easy Win boxes, and it's a poured glue one. So I got him all set up last night. So I put all these release papers on, and I made the little squares a little bit smaller than mine. And I've gave him a tray for all his drills and whatnot. So he sat there last night kitting that all up, and I come out this morning and it's all just still sitting on the dining table and all kitted up and ready to go. So it was pretty late when he started. It was like 10 o'clock or something when he decided that that's what he was going to do, and he thought it was a good idea. So so he got that done, and so I've just got to get him a pair of magnifiers, because he's supposed to wear glasses and he doesn't. And Lars and I were talking about it, and he went to say, so he goes, oh, I was supposed to wear glasses, but I didn't because, and then Savannah's like, be careful, we all wear glasses here. And he started laughing. And and anyway, so I've got to find I've got tons of magnifiers around, so I'll find him a pair of magnifiers to use. And so he's going to start giving him a go at diamond painting. I reckon he'll love it. He's a raging ADHD that's never been checked or taught how to navigate it without medication, which is what he is doing right now. And so, so hopefully that'll help him zen out a bit. And, it's helped other people I know that have got ADHD. They like doing it because of the repetition and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully he enjoys it. I said, if you don't, just give back to me. It's fine. I will just finish it off myself. And Savannah took a landscape one that she's going to, I think she's kitting up today, actually. So I don't think she kitted up last night. She might have, I don't know. But anyway, she's going to start one. So I've got to give her, a, I'll just have a look. I'm sure I've got some kits somewhere. Yeah, I've got a kit there for myself. So, yeah, she can, I can't remember this. I've got some kits down, like drill holders down there, so I'll have to see what's in there. I don't think I've got any pieces on the go, so they should be empty. Maybe I just haven't emptied it out. I'll have to double check. And there's no sticker on top, so I'm assuming that I have done what I needed to do with that one. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's my neighbourhood. Fun times. I didn't know we were doing story time with Nicole today. Sorry, guys. But I'm just whip stitching this down. Hanging out with my friends. Doing a little bit of stitching. Love it. Okay, he's looking good. He's getting his bits and pieces. What do you think? You're that one? No, that's you there. All right, so let me just put a pin in that. And then I can place these other ones. I think that's you. So I'm going to wrap up in just a moment because we just spent an hour together, and because I have to start in 30 minutes on BookTube, because we have our last weekend of reading happening, which is for non-fiction stuff. So we have got a 48-hour reading event happening this weekend. I'm kicking it off in 30 minutes where we read nothing but non-fiction for 48 hours. So that's going to be fun. So yeah, and Chris says, hello to Crafty Nicole. Hello, Chris. Welcome on in. How are you this morning? And Jean's also joined us as well. That's it's like an urban version of Rhonda and Cal a story fully. I love story time with Nicole. Thank you. I don't normally put comments up on the live streams, but that's funny. Story time with Nicole. That I'll have to think of other stuff to tell you. It's like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I repeat myself a bit. I feel like grandma, grandma's telling the same stories over and over again. My life is actually really boring. I don't actually do much at all. Although I am going to ACDC this coming month, which is pretty cool. So that's exciting. I'm going with Brendan. I'm going away for a few days for a little bit of a break. Looking forward to it, actually. It's going to be great. No phones. Sounds like bliss, right? It does, for sure. Yeah, so we're going to go to ACDC. The girls are coming with us. Nerily has the house is settled, so that is now all underway. So she's got the land, she's got the house, and basically that will get built over the next 8 months. So August, they're saying, so a nice little birthday present for her on that. And she pretty much started this journey in August as well. So it'll be a full year that it's taken to get her into a place, but she has done it all on her own. We went with her to pick out some fittings and all the rest of it, which turned out to be really quick in the end. And, yeah, so it was good that we were able to do that with her. And her sister came up as well. And, yeah, we thought it was going to take hours, and it ended up not taking hours. That's, yeah. But it was good. We got to see Savannah, and we got to help her make decisions and all the rest of it. But the way they did it was really good because she's getting a budget house, right? Like, it doesn't mean it's a shitty house. It just means it's within a certain dollar value and all the rest of it. So it doesn't have all the bells and whistles. She can do that later on if she wants to put extra stuff in. So it's all in her color scheme that she likes and stuff. So it's perfect. It's perfect for her. It'll work for her. And, it gets her into the property market and all that sort of stuff. So the job that she has is, it was enough for her to, within 6 months of being there, getting in the property market. Now, she saved a fair chunk of money in that time as well. So she's done really well. And, of course, she decided not to go to uni. So we gave her college fund for her deposit on that because it was her money anyway to use. So, and, it was either for school or for a house. So she decided with the house. She's not a schooly girl on that. So, yeah. But the hard part is now over, we've got the house, the land valued up, the house is valued up, the loan has gone through, and I believe that all went through yesterday. So, and so we have an end date for the build, which is August. Of course, it's summer here. I guess it might be earlier, I guess, if they don't get much storms, but if the past week is anything to go by, holy crap, we're in for a wild ride this storm season. Nicole, I will probably join you for part of the non-fiction since that is mostly what I read. Yeah. I have an audio book to finish. Nicely done. Yeah, we've got an event happening. We're doing I think there's 6 parts. Don't quote me on that. No, there'll be 8 parts, 48 hours. 4 6 are 24. Yeah. So there's 8 co-hosts. Obviously, all the co-hosts can join and stuff like that. But there's 8 co-hosts doing it on their channels over the next 48 hours. And basically, we're reading nothing but non-fiction because it's a nod to Non-Fiction November, which was run by the Book Olive, but decided to not do that anymore. Give it a basically it's run its course in I don't know what her exact words were, but she's done with doing it. And so yeah, people are still doing it because it's been going for so long. And I thought it would be a good idea to give a little bit of a nod to Non-Fiction November by doing a NetGalley one. So these are new releases and stuff like that. And it's a little bit, on my part, a little bit of foreplanning because I am going to be looking at the Women's Prize Nonfiction this year, which comes out, I want to say February. Is it February? I think it is February. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to finish putting this one on and I'm going to wrap up for today. So, thank you for hanging out with me for Storytime with Nicole. That I tell you, some of the stories that Brendan can tell, I should get him on here for Storytime. Bloody hell. You'd be in fits of like, although he's not. Don't paint him always in a good light either. And then you'd be just questioning my life choices. But anyway, things he did as a lad and all that. Oh my God, some of the things that they do, yeah. I just laugh because he doesn't do that now, of course. But lads, boys will be boys, as they say. Yeah. Anyway, God, this is a hot mess behind here. Jesus, I didn't want to stop and start the thread all the time, so I just did a couple of jump threads. You know what? I don't care. The stitching police can come at me all they want because I don't care. It's done. That's all that matters, right? You do you, I'll do me, as they say. You do you, boo. All right. There we go. We have a peacock with all his bits on. He's got his bits. So now what will happen, next time you see this, I will go and update myself on how to do fly stitch, which I'll probably do a little bit today, I think. I'm in two minds because I've got a couple of audio books which are nonfiction, so I'm probably going to listen to them, and I'm thinking I might do some diamond painting today and get a little bit more progress on that. Because I also want to start a Christmas one as well. So, but I am going to be starting a Heaven and Earth one next year, called Secret Door, I think it's called. And it's a woman at a tree with a door in it, and it's all in beautiful greens and earth tones and stuff like that. Very autumnal, but I'm starting that on the 1st of January. So I want to get a lot more of this cat one done. And I also have to set up something. So I've got some bulldog clips to hang my Heaven and Earth one when I'm working on others, but I also want to do a Christmas one. But I was looking last night and I did see quite a number of little Christmas things that I could probably do, so I might end up doing those instead. But so there will be a couple of diamond paint with me's or something on the weekend and whatnot. But yeah, there's the peacock. He's done. That's it from me today, everybody. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Do bear with me while I update everything on the channel and whatnot. On the community tab, there is a book that I just recently reviewed. It's called A Quilted Christmas. It's absolutely stunning. It's only $16.99 US to purchase. There is a link there. If you buy that, I get a little bit of a kickback commission for that. You don't pay anymore. It's just a little bit of a commission that I get. So go check it out. It's full of templates. There's QR codes in it. There's a review there that you can check out as well, give you all the information that you need. If you've got any questions, hit me up because I've actually read the book in its entirety. As I said, it has all of the templates that you could need. It's only 80 pages, but there's 16 projects in there. Even though the little sticker on the top says that it's only 10, it is actually 16. So, yeah, go check it out because some are used in different things and all that sort of stuff, but there's some applique, there's quilt, there's pillows, there's a wall hanging, tableware, all the things. Go check it out. You won't be disappointed with it. Keep an eye on the community tab for more books coming from that because I have been getting a lot of craft books from Fox Chapel because I have got onto their auto approve list. So check that out. They send me widgets and stuff for things that are coming out and whatnot. So yeah, go check it out. You won't be disappointed. And that is it for me today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for the last hour and 10 minutes and hearing tales of King Roy. And of course, I will see you all in the next video. Bye. And if you're looking for something to do, come and hang out with me on Dusty Book Snippers because we'll be doing some reading. You can still do some craft and stuff as well if you're looking for some motivation. All right, I'll see you all next time. Bye.